And welcome back. This is episode 6 of our Let's Play Poorly of Oolite unmodded vanilla version 1.90. We are in Esusti, heading towards Zir, and then the goal ultimately is to get all the way over around to the lower right corner here, just to get a general overview of how the vanilla version of Oolite 1.90 plays. So, we need to go back and forth a couple times, I think, here. What was this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, so last time I noticed that we can do a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 hop for a good chunk of this time and just to sort of build up some income. So we're here in an industrial. We can go to a mostly agricultural, go to industrial, go to agricultural, and then bounce that way without having to go back and forth and back and forth. All right, so we have our computers here. We're good for that. Now, as far as, okay, so we're in tech level 10. So there's really not too much here right now that we can get. We've already bought a couple of things. We could get an extra energy unit. I have been told I really need one. So we'll just do it. We'll get it. We'll get it. We got it. There it is. Done. Extra energy unit. Okay. So let's save. And then, we could do some contract deliveries. Let's see if they're available. Nope. We could do something there. Let's take a look. And then the passenger, we can't do passengers. We don't have passenger berth. All right. So these are packages going to. Okay. Well, that's not. That's not the way we're going. That is absolutely not the way we're going. I mean, we could do that. No, God, that's just going to take us so far out of our route, and then, yeah, and that's just gonna take way too long. But maybe once we get to the next zone, we'll find something a little bit better. Okay, so we are in good shape. We're going to go up to Zir. Let's see about Zir. Large yellow bug-eyed frogs, well known for the Zirian wolf meat and its fabulous cuisine. So that is that's our next. Oh, it's very green. I like it. It's very thematically correct. Yellow and green, and a little bit of purple. Which, I mean, okay. So here we go. Oh right. I rebooted my computer, and my stick tends to reset every time I do that. So I'm gonna pause. I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to fix that and come back, and then I won't be spinning around like I got hit by an asteroid. All right, so we are back here, and now everything should be working again. Yep, there we go. Yeah, it's just a calibration issue. It has nothing to do with Oolite. It has to do with my x56. It discalibrates every time I reboot my computer. So I just forgot to adjust it, and it just takes a few seconds. And if anybody out there has an x56 that has issues with calibration, especially with the twist axis, all you have to do is go into the x56 software, make a tiny adjustment on your calibration, like on your zones. Oh God, getting out of here, getting out of here, getting out of here. Nope, getting out of there, getting out of there. Just make a tiny adjustment, apply the calibration, switch it back, apply the calibration again, and then that solves it. You just do that for all three axes. Okay. Let's see here. Where am I going? Oh, damn it. And of course, I did not get my touch portal turned back on. So I'm going to need to do that real quick. Should be all right in just a moment. Accidentally opening up my head tracking software. Yeah, I'm a professional. Absolutely, I'm a professional. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we got what we want. We got back to the station, although I kind of saw it right there anyway. But we were definitely going to need that for traffic control because I never remember the key press. I don't remember the hotkeys for most of the commands. I rely on my touch portal. Which, once I've done this series, I'm going to do an episode or two of, just one video or two of showing my setup, my control setup, and then also kind of going over my impressions of vanilla Oolite versus modded, because I do have some some comments to make. I mean, I can certainly be critical of both ends, but where did it go? Where is it? It's up here. No? Wow. Oh, God. I should stop talking while I do this. I have absolutely lost track of what I want. Okay. It's right there. Now I just need to flip around. Where's the frickin' station? It should be... Oh, no. This is on me. And it's got to be there. It's got to be on the thing, right? It's on the... Where? What am I doing? Oh, anyway, while I'm looking for this, I have the world's worst sense of direction. Just FYI, that is a thing. So, that's the planet. That's the buoy. Where's the station? It should be right here. Oh, it was there the whole time. I just couldn't see it. Okay, great. Anyway, well, so yeah, so I definitely have opinions, and I love both versions for different reasons. I definitely wouldn't play on a vanilla version for an extended period of time. There's just so many things in the modded version, both in terms of content and in terms of interface and in terms of just affordances for the UI that I prefer. But I'll go into more detail when I do the sort of the breakdown at the end, along with my discussion of my setup. All right, so we are waiting to enter. So I'm getting tired of waiting. I'm just gonna go since I know I don't. Oh no, yeah, please no, I'm not gonna hold. Because I don't. There are no fees in the vanilla. Which again, it's like one of those things. It's like I play games for the immersion. Oh geez, and I don't play games to win games. If I did that, I would just never play games. So I've been fined for the docking protocol. It's fine. I can do that. But I prefer games that let me sort of feel like I'm inside an environment. And Oolite, in its modded form, does that a lot more for me than this. But again, I'll leave that for later. It's not like I'm trying to, it's like, oh, you need to watch that video. But it's just, I don't want to just take everybody's time by jawing about that right now. So, okay. Okay, so computers, we're going to sell those. We're up to 5,100. We can, we'll do the furs line. Furs, and we're going to need something else. Let's do the liquor and wines. Okay. Quick save. Sorry about that noise. That was my phone. I forgot to mute it. I am a professional. I am. I swear. No, I'm really not. Okay. So we're here. We're tech level 8. So we're not really going to, we're not getting much here. But we are going to go to Zizaur next. And what's in Zizaur? Well known for its hoopy casinos, which we unfortunately I don't think we'll have in the unmodded in vanilla. Pretty sure. Don't know for sure. But I'm pretty sure that's the case that we won't have that. All right. No cargo, no parcel, no, obviously no passenger. Okay. That's fair. Okay. Allergies are coming back to kick me in the butt. Give me just a moment while I go sneeze and deal with that so you don't have to hear it on the recording. And I'm back, and I realize that since I paused the video, you wouldn't even have known if I hadn't said anything. But okay. So it goes. All right. Yes, we're going there. I'm getting a little bit better at this. I just sneezed, but I turned the sound off. Hey, look, I shouldn't have said anything. I probably don't need to know anything about my bodily functions. That's crazy. Okay. Let's find the station. Oh, that hit the wrong button. Going over there. Oh, so we got some ships coming in. Some system ships. Oh, dear. Go. Yeah, I took out all of my my wool clothes, my sweaters, all my coats, all that stuff for the winter here in Seattle. And I am allergic to wool, but if I wear anything other than wool, I end up cold. so I just have to deal with it. But as a result, my apartment is now completely floating, like it's just swimming in wool. So so my body is responding accordingly. So what I've been doing here every few seconds is I've been quieting the microphone audio and dealing with it. Sneezing constantly. Yesterday was the worst. I don't know why I'm telling anybody this. Nobody needs to hear this. I'm gonna stop. All right. Get into our buoy. Slowing down, and hey, look, I found it on the first try. I had docking clearance. Excellent. All right, so speed is not going to be an issue in vanilla. So, wow, look at that. I made it. I thought I was going to crash. I really did think I was going to crash for a second there. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do sort by price. All right, sell the furs. Liquor and wines, we're up to 5,800. Excellent. We're making some money. Okay, and then we are here now. So because we're in an 11, we're in a tech level 11, we should be able to maybe look for some things that are fun. Military laser. Can't afford it, but okay. Galactic hyperdrive. I'm not going to be doing this on this run because I am going to be ending once I get to that corner. But once I get back to the modded version, I really am interested in figuring out the process of going to another galaxy and doing all of that. I will probably see if I make that a big goal when I get back to the other version. All right, so mining laser, no. Passenger berth. It takes up 5 tons of cargo. Should I do that? I don't know. I mean, we're going to end up getting passenger jobs that take us to the other side of the map, which is not good. Wormhole scanner. Okay, so that, yeah, that blue ball that I saw the other time, that was a wormhole point, so I could theoretically use the scanner and then find out where I'm going. Excuse me. I don't know. Or where I could go if I followed it in. But since that could take us somewhere we don't want to go, yeah, we're going to do that. All right. Oh, yeah, we need to buy the fuel. Okay, did we buy stuff here? Not yet. Okay, so we are in a technology. The Hoopy Casinos, yeah. Computers. Now we're fully loaded. Okay, save, and let's look at where we're going next. So if we go here and then here, that will be a 1-2-1-2 hop. Yeah, these really are 1-2-1-2, aren't they? And while on the one hand it's a little bit gamified that exists, on the other hand, it is actually a realistic way of it's realistic to how societies develop in terms of their in terms of where they place their economic hubs. So one of the things that I learned from some research when I was doing some tabletop RPG stuff is that the way societies kind of abstractly develop their market hubs and so forth is they have a big city that has a market, and then at some distance away from there, let's say, so it'd be half the distance to another big city, you have a medium-sized city that acts as another clearinghouse market hub, basically. In between those two, between the big one and the medium-sized, there are some smaller ones that handle production supply of unfinished goods and so forth. And as a result, you can kind of construct this matrix of big city, small city, and different kinds of production chains that, while not exact and obviously have to be modified based on terrain, is sort of this nodal system that can be used as a rudimentary economic model. And it looks like Oolite conforms to that. I don't know if it was intentional or not. Maybe it was. Maybe that's part of the algorithm to generate these at game start. For when Elite came out, that was how they would have to do it. It would have to be done programmatically because they didn't have enough space in the software. and in the memory to do it otherwise. But I'm wondering if they built that in, is that you kind of are able to do these 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 hub hops, not necessarily for purposes of gameplay, but just because it's a little bit more realistic. All right, we got computers, so we can head to our next zone. Riesdice. What's in Riesdice? Reasonably famous for the Riesdician deadly lobstoid. What's a lobstoid? All right. Oopsies. Hit the wrong button. I want the witch point, want the station. Okay. All right, we got to get away from that ship out there. Got it. Ah, got mass locked by another ship. There we go. Ah, I'm in the space lane. Honestly, that's all that is. That's on me. I should get out of the space lane. All right, we're gonna go perpendicular to the space lane for a few seconds, and then and then bend our way back in. So where is the station? That's a good looking planet there, though. It doesn't have a lot of water. You'd be like, well, how can you have lobstoids? There's not a lot of water there for the lobstoids to live in. Although I guess it's human colonials, right? Human colonials, and then there just happens to be a deadly lobstoid. Maybe they're just like these big, enormous whale-sized creatures that live in those oceans. Uh-oh, mass lock. Another mass lock. There we go. Oh, there's my station. Don't want to mass lock on the planet. All right. So I'm going to go this way just so that I can stay farther out because of the width of my screen, basically. Turn in. There we go. Original Elite, you couldn't use yaw. You could only roll and pitch. And I think I mentioned this in the other series, is that at one point there was this big hullabaloo about adding yaw to Oolite, and there was a whole big debate about it, which makes sense. It's like, are we trying to go with verisimilitude to the original game? Are we trying to create a different game with different sensibilities? And yaw won out, but it's interesting. I used to play all of my space games with yaw on the primary steering axis, which is to say, if I have my stick and I push it left or right, if I just left or right, it would yaw, and that was because coming from controllers and things like that, that's kind of what you do. But then I started playing more modern games like X4 Foundations, Elite Dangerous for a little bit until that became incredibly boring, and other games like that. And I realized, well, that doesn't actually conform to the physical spatial map between what you're doing with your ship and what you're doing with your stick. So if I'm pitching up and down, I'm pushing down and pulling back on my stick, and as a result, that's around an axis that conforms to the way that my stick moves. So if I'm doing a yaw by pushing left and right, that actually does not conform to the same concept of the axis that my pitch does. The thing that would actually conform would be a twist. And so I've only now gotten joysticks that have a twist axis. So my previous T16000M Thrustmaster, which had some problems with that twist axis, I eventually got rid of it. Oh God, Q position 7. I know I could go in there and get a fine. I'm yammering, so we'll just keep yammering. So the twist axis really belongs on yaw because of the physical, like the mapping of the spatial connection between the way the ship is moving, where your actual axis is, the axis of rotation, I should say, right? And the axis of movement on the stick. So yaw should be on the twist and roll should be on the turn. So that's how I play all my games now. Is I make sure that my primary steering axes are pitch and roll. And what's interesting is that Elite, the original game, did in fact conform to that, right? Because if you were using a joystick or even like the rudimentary old school joysticks, or even just using the keyboard, conceptually, pitch and roll were the true primary axes, given the fact that you didn't have a twist axis in joysticks until much later in the history of gaming. Like that wasn't a thing really. I don't even know. Maybe in the late 90s. I don't remember exactly when that first appeared, but it was new much later than Elite, and so it made sense if you were trying to go with a realistic flight model to the extent that you could, given the computer power at the time, to have pitch and roll as your primary steering, and to have yaw as either secondary or non-existent if you couldn't make it work given your control scheme, given the control surfaces you had available to you. All right, we're here, right? Yes. Okay. So first, get the fuel. Gonna sell our computers. Buy some furs. We need some more. Look at our wines. Now we're at 35. Okay, save. Nothing here because this is tech level 6, so it's kind of junky. But next up, we're going to go to Arexi, which is fabled for its exciting sitcoms and its inhabitants' ancient loathing of sitcoms. What? That sounds like a fun emergent property of the randomization, of the programmatic. Not randomization, I shouldn't say that. It's very much not randomized, precisely because it is programmatically, algorithmically generated. It's exciting sitcoms and its inhabitants' ancient loathing sitcoms. The inhabitants' ancient loathing sitcoms I've seen in other systems, and so that's fun. All right, we bought the stuff. We're good, and there's nothing here. Do we have anything that we can deliver? No, and then we can parcel. That takes us back to where we came from. No, I know I'm being boring. All right, so we're going up there. So yeah, so now when I fly in Oolite or X4 or Elite Dangerous, I do tend to not use roll as much because as far as orientation goes, it doesn't change my orientation, right? It just rotates the universe positioning. It doesn't change the orientation of my ship. So I don't use it as much as perhaps I could. If I wanted to do it right, like I could roll and then pitch to make changes. But because I tend to kind of prefer changing orientation through yaw and pitch, I'm doing a lot of twist and then a lot of up and down with my stick. I use the more common like left right turn of the stick far less. Because that is primarily roll. I do know that a lot of players, especially a lot of Elite Dangerous players who do PvP, and so are fighting against other players, do a lot of pitch and roll if they're using a stick. But again, forgot about that. Ran out of witch fuel. But actually, a lot of Elite Dangerous players, because they're playing a game and they're doing PvP in a game, they just use keyboard and mouse because it's actually a better control scheme for accuracy in combat. But I honestly do everything in my power all the time to avoid using my mouse because that is the least immersive control system I can think of. Keyboards are better. Obviously, my touch portal is fantastic, and the stick is better. And I wish I could use my throttle, but I can't. That's okay. A mouse is just like, there's nobody would use a mouse in space because their mouse, it would have to be on a magnet or something. It's just weird. Maybe a trackball would make sense, but still, it's just weird, right? So I avoid using my mouse if I can. And that's one of the things I like about Elite is that I don't need to use my mouse at all. Unless I really want to, I can sometimes use it on the map. But you see that I don't. I actually use my keys. You can watch me using my keys doing that. The only reason I'm using the mouse at all in these playthroughs is because I want to indicate something on the screen, and it's easy to do that with the mouse. But that is outside. That's meta. That is outside the context of the game's immersion. That is just for presentation. There's one of those. There's one of those witch space tunnels. So what was I saying? Oh, right. So the mouse and keyboard thing, that's what most sort of higher end Elite Dangerous players use for combat, keyboard and mouse, which again makes sense because they are playing a game. That's what they're interested in, and not knocking that even in the slightest. That is a thing that they're doing because that is enjoyable to them, and that's what they like to do. They like to play against other players and they like to do, show off their skill that way. Same thing with people playing Star Citizen and things like that, where you have these PvP options. They'll use a mouse as their primary control scheme because it is a little bit more precise for that. And, a lot of PvPers like to do things without, like auto-targeting. Elite doesn't really need that because all of its lasers kind of go when they don't have that as a thing. Everything aims directly towards the center of the reticle regardless. There's no option for an auto-targeting system. But in Elite Dangerous, you can have gimbaled and turreted things and stuff. And typically, those players will not do that because they feel like it doesn't showcase their skill, which is fair and cool. That's cool. But I am not a PvP player by any stretch of the imagination. I don't like those kinds of games because I'm certainly not any good at them. I'm not even good at this as a single player game. I'm not going to be able to do anything multiplayer ever. So they use that. Now, if I were a PvP player, I couldn't possibly use my stick because I just wouldn't have the level of control that I would gain from a mouse against other players. So it is one of the. But for me, it's all about the immersion, and I'm using a mouse would just be just horrendous. It would be. I know I'm playing a game. I don't want to play a game. I want to be in a cockpit, which is why I love the Vimana HUD. It's why I love a lot of those OXPs that give me the feel of being in a cockpit in space. I honestly wish that Elite had cockpit graphics, like in the corners and stuff. Like I can see little struts and stuff. It doesn't have that, and that's fine. But the Vimana HUD kind of emulates that concept, that feel for me. This HUD is highly functional. The HUD we're looking at right now is highly functional, and realistically, this is kind of what you would see. Maybe you'd have a little bit more data on screen, but if you were a real pilot, you would want highly informative HUD, not necessarily a stylistically exciting one. But I like the stylistically exciting Vimana HUD because it makes me feel it's more like a cockpit. So there's that trade-off there that I like because I accept that trade-off just because it gives me a better feel for being in space. It's another reason why I also like manually docking, and I generally don't use the auto dock because if I hit a key to do auto dock and I just sit back, I'm no longer in space. I'm in my chair in my office watching a screen. So anyway, here we go. We're going to sell our furs. That's a decent price. Sell our liquor. Wow, that's a really good price. Look at that, $7,300. So do we have anything here? No, we got the million. All right, let's see what we're buying first. Oh yeah, we need to buy the fuel. So our next stop off is going to be over here at Rizala, which is mildly notable for Rizalian lethal brandy. I feel like you wouldn't only be mildly notable for lethal brandy. I feel like you would be notoriously notable for Rizalian lethal brandy. Right? Am I wrong here? Wow. Okay. Wormhole scanner. Well, maybe let's just get that. I don't know. I mean, maybe one of the things we'll just gotta collect them all like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all before we get to the end of our line. All right, where am I again? Okay, we're here. So we need computers full up. Okay. Is there anything? Well, let's just get it. Sure, why not? Let's just get it. Do we want to get that too? Let's get that too. Not gonna necessarily use it, but hey, we got nothing else to do. Okay. No cargo and certainly no passenger. So next up is Rosala. And here we go. And once we get to Rosala and sell our stuff, that will be the episode, and we'll see you next time after that. Yeah, been a lot of talking, a lot of just traveling, but me talking about things. So I hope that was reasonably interesting. I've watched people do Oolite. There are not very many YouTube videos of Oolite, and honestly, that is the reason I decided to start doing these, because I really like the game, and I feel like I want to find a way to encourage people to check it out, and without videos, it's really hard to kind of know what you're in for. I mean, most people know, oh yeah, it's like this very thing. It's like, it's going to be gross. No, I mean, it's rich and varied and well made and all of that. And, but people will often be put off. I think a lot of people would be put off by it being, described as what it is. And it's on a website that is, it's not something you have to pay for. Like, it doesn't have that AAA new car smell about it. None of which matters to me at all. I mean, I think this is amazing. And most of the games that I play are either in early access or, independently made and stuff. So like, this is right up my alley. But for a lot of people, you kind of need to push them a little and convince them. It's like, no, if you look at this, you could watch someone play the game. Now, if I were a better player of games, that would be better, surely. But that's one of the reasons I made sure to call this a Let's Play Poorly, because I want to just make it clear I am not here trying to tell you this is the optimal way to play the game, because it most definitely is not. But I wanted to present this game to people who might want to watch it, and to see if it was something that they would enjoy. But there are a couple of other people who have done videos, and one of them is a couple of, like an hour and a half long, but it is just the game being played with absolutely no voice, and I think no sound either. And I was like, well, that's not really an advertisement, right? That doesn't advertise the game. It just shows it, but no one's gonna sit and literally watch an hour and a half of just the visual of just something happening on screen. You don't know the context. You don't know the decisions going in. You don't know what the options are that the player is choosing among. You're really just watching the scenes go by, which, I'm sure there are people who enjoy that, who like to just kind of have it on the second screen, maybe with no audio, and just like seeing the visuals. It's great, but that's not really, I think, what would really make for a compelling, advertisement, as it were. So I decided to do these. All right, so we'll sell our computers, save our game. We got nothing we're going to buy here, and then sell and buy the fuel, and then we're going to buy up our furs and liquor and wines as usual. And then next time, we are going to make our way over to Zazosit, or Zazokiat, or whatever you want to call that. And it's a tech level 11. There might be something fun to buy over there. And we're going to see... Oh. Well, it's a revolting dump. So next time we will start at a revolting dump. Oh, God, that's really sickly green. It sure is a revolting... Wow. Wow. That is gross. But yeah, so we'll have that to look forward to next time. And thanks for watching. See you later.